That took the place of the pick. With it, you notice, all it is a sideways chainsaw. And you notice it has an 8-foot cutting bar, so it doubled the depth of the cut. But with the mechanization, you, with machines in the places, had to increase the size of your working places. You know, the hand loading, you were loading 8 to 10 foot widths. Whenever they started with machines, it went from that to 15 to 20 foot widths. And so, you know, you more than doubled your production right there on one cut. With that, the cutting machine, it would be brought into the place and set up. It would sump into the coal and then just cut right and left and undercut the coal just like the miner did with his pick. Then pull it back out, and they would use a hydraulic hand drill. It has a hydraulic hand drill. Again, it has an 8-foot bit on it, so you know, your depth is a lot deeper than with that breast auger that he used manually. Did the same thing. You drilled 4 holes there, drilled 1 in each side and 2 in the center, loaded it with the powder and shot it, and then loaded it out with the machines. With the machinery, you know, when they did away with the hand loading, that changed the pay scale. So they went from a tonnage rate to an hourly rate, depending upon the machines that they operated. You know, they would get 50, 55, 56 cents an hour, you know, depending upon what machines they loaded. I don't know if you've not been through the coal camp yet, up at the houses, or at the coal house, at the miner's house, on the kitchen table, there's a pay schedule. There, it was from the 1930s. I'm not sure exactly when, but it showed southern West Virginia in 4 regions. That the regions paid different money for the same jobs. I don't know what the difference was, but they got paid differently. But like I said, it went to an hourly rate, and so the miners, you know, got paid. I don't know if it was any more in the long run or not to start off with, but you know, with the mechanization, you know, you went from an 8 to 10 foot width place to a 15 to 20 foot place. With the 8 foot widths that they mined, the normal roof control that they used was timbers. And if it had some bad top, they'd put some headers. Timber the headers up to the top. Now, once they opened it up, they had to come up with a little bit better way of supporting the top. And they somebody developed what they call a roof bolt. Roof bolt, you drill a hole in the top. This is a glue bolt. This glue bolt, they come out in the 70s. In the late 70s. It's the same thing as the conventional bolts, but the bolt, you drill your hole in the top. If you notice this glue, the stick is two different colors. And what you have there is you have a resin glue on one side and then you have a hardener on the other. You put the glue in the hole, put the bolt in behind it, push it up, and right before you got the plate up against the top, you spin the bolt. What you're doing is you're mixing that glue and hardener. That glue will come down the length of the bolt, and if you have any cracks in the rock where you drill, that glue will migrate out into those cracks to help seal it. The bolts, then you'd set the bolt up tight against the top, you would hold it. Depending upon the manufacturer's recommendations, it'd be anywhere from 3 to 5 to 15 seconds. you hold the bolt on there for the glue to set. Once the glue set, then you'd set you take you a torque wrench and you'd put pressure against that bolt to make sure that it didn't turn. You know, as long as it didn't turn, your bolt was set good, you know, it was in good shape. If the bolt did turn, then you'd have to sit over beside, drill you another hole, and add some more glue into the next hole to help for it to set. But normal roof control is 4 to 5 bolts in a row, in straight row. And what you're doing is building a beam with the bolts, tying the rock together to beam it. You build, you set a row of bolts, move up 4 to 5 foot, set you another row. You know, you're going 4 to 5 foot centers, crosswise and lengthwise. And what we got here, as you notice, there's a lot more bolts. And that's because you guys are running around here without hats, hard hats and stuff. You know, that is protection for you guys. Yeah. I'd say those were put in about 1962.
So the people that were pulling the coal out with these machines, are they the same people putting the bolts?
No, you had
Different
operators, yeah. Yep, you did. See, that's originally, the original roof bolters that they used were stopers, air. All the stoper was an upside down jackhammer, had an air leg on it that put the pressure to drill the top. They it used a solid piece of steel. As he was drilling, that bit was cutting the rock, that dust was just falling out the hole. Then they developed the roof bolting machine. The machine, that is an electric powered with a hydraulic, the electric motor runs a hydraulic pump. The hydraulic pump is used to run the tram, also for the drill head, for rotation on the drill, and the up and down pressure to raise and lower the drill head. It was also provided with a vacuum system. It had a blower motor that caused a vacuum. The drill steel they use is hollow. As the bit cuts, the vacuum pulls the dust down through the drill. And it goes right through this hose back into a dust collection box. So the operator just have to empty his dust box every so often. And so it did away with a whole lot of dust on the operators. But that little thing right there is a flea compared to what the bolt machines look like now. But you know, the best time of the day is always lunchtime. You ever had, I know my dad carried one of these old round pails. He worked 28 years, and whenever I started, I just had me a regular old lunchbox, so I carried dinner buckets. But these old pails were made into 3 sections. First, you had a pie pan. The man was good, maybe his wife would bake him a pie there for his dessert. Or he could bake him some cookies or something, you know, to have him some dessert for his lunch. And the second part, that's where he carried his sandwiches and fruits, vegetables, whatever he ate with his lunch. And then the pail. That was how much water a man would have to drink for the day. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's, yeah. And now mine operators are required to provide drinking water on the sections for the workers. But back in that day and time, there was no such animal. Unfortunately, you know, back in you had old buddy working up the track from you that might have had a rough night the night before, might have laid out or something, went down to Rose's bar, kind of tied one on, and he was dried out. from the alcohol. And so he would drink all his water up before noon. And he'd be thirsty, and he'd look down the way and he'd see your bucket hanging there on timber outside the place where you're working, and he'd sneak down and get him a drink of your water. So old boys, they got aggravated. They trying to figure out what can I do to stop this. And they found he remembered. He said, well, bless her heart, Grandma passed away a couple of years ago, and whenever she died, they took her false teeth, put them in the bureau, in the bedroom. So he went and got Grandma's teeth and put them in the bag. You know, you stop and think about it, you go to take a drink of water and you look and you see somebody's teeth is smiling at you, you're not likely to want to drink it. And so that is a truism, because I've heard a lot of old timers, and a lot of them said that they took their own teeth, put their own false teeth in there, you know, just to make sure that nobody would borrow their water. So that's, but also right here we got kettle bottoms. These kettle bottoms, all they are is petrified wood. They're found in mine roof. And the only way that you can see them, the only way that you know that they are there, is they are right around the circumference of each one of them will be a very thin seam of coal. And that's what you'd have to look for whenever you made your roof examinations. You'd be looking to see if you could find, if you've seen any little thin seam of coal in your top, you knew you had one of these. Unfortunately, those things have an ominous name. It's called a widowmaker. Because those things are extremely heavy. They're much heavier than normal rock. And if it fell out, and if it hit a man, if it didn't kill him, it would disable him. And so whenever miners, whenever they would find them, back in the day, all they could do was set a timber under it to support it, to keep it up. After we started bolting top, they first started drilling a hole right through the center of it, setting a bolt in it. And that was okay until something happened. If the mountain would bump, the top would shift a little bit and break that kettle bottom above that anchorage point on the bolt, then it'd drop right out, bolt and all. So now what they do is they set two bolts, one on each side of it, and then strap across it and hold it in place. That way they don't go out. They don't drop unless the whole place falls in. Hopefully nobody's in there. But we had a little mine phone right there hanging up on the timber. That was communication. Had a phone wire that run from the outside, and it would go to the different areas of the mine. And they were a pager type phone. Had a page button. You push the page button and hold had a talk button on the handset. And you held that, and you would call out whoever you're trying to get a hold of, call out their name. And, if they heard it, they'd answer. If somebody else might know where they were at, they would answer and tell them, get a hold of them and let them know. That thing underneath that, the rock duster, we use tons and tons of pulverized limestone rock dust now in coal mines. It's used to cover, they put it on the top and the sides of the mine to help suppress coal dust. Because coal dust itself is explosive if it's in the right mixtures and you have the right stuff happen. But rock dust will allay it. It will cover it over and cool it off. If you do get a pop off, the rock dust, if you have good rock dust on the top, it will come off the top, it will shake off the top, and then it will just cool the flame and everything out. But rock dust is vital for our mines now. Any questions?
I got one that's a TMI question, but what did they use for bathrooms? I can.
Wherever you feel comfortable.
Okay,
You go to a private place,
okay.
normally what they call the return. The return airway.
Oh, yeah?
That's, on a section, you have an intake coming up one side normally, and then a return going out the other side.
Oh, okay.
And the return air, that way, the odors and everything are going out by and not up on the section. But yeah, that's,
Important.
they are required by law to have a porta potty on the section. But the standing rule for that is if you use it, you clean it. So how many people are going to use it? That porta potty will sit there and get not used, and we'll get rock on top of it and stuff. You get a little bit of sloughage coming off the top, and that it's usually on a tool car where you'd find it on the section. And it'll be on top, and there'll be rock on top of it and everything, so. That is it. Any other questions? We'll move out. That concludes our tour. Hopefully you learn a little bit more. Know a lot more.
Thank you very much.